Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to our subject, modern operating system and computer networks. So, as we know, myself, Dr. Madhivanandurai, currently working as an assistant professor to the Department of School of Computer Science and at SR University, Varangal. So, today discussion is based on the presentation layer network and security with the cryptographic tools. So, what is meaning of presentation layer and where it is located in the OSM models? First, we need to understand. So, for the presentation layer in the OSM model, it's located at six places among this OSM model, among the seven layers. So, which is over the section layer and below to the application layers. So, what is the role of presentation layer? So here the role of presentation layer is ensure the data is properly formatted or not, and it should be compressed and encrypted before reaching the application layers. So the main goal it should be do for like proper formatting the data first. Then it should be compressed in case of the file should be in the largest size. It should be compressed for usable purpose or transmission purpose. Then the data should be encrypted before sending to the destination point. So encrypted is nothing but, as we know, like the plain text should be converted into the non-readable or non-accessible format. Then it should be decrypted at the destination point. So here, before the reaching of a application layer, it should be formatted like a proper and compressed and encrypted before reaching the application layers. So it acts as a syntax layer, it enabling a seamless communication across the diverse system and platforms. So while doing this kind of process, it should be it act as a like a syntax layer. The presentation layer it performed as a syntax layer. So by utilizing this process, we can enabling the seamless communications, which means that continuous data transmission can be executed across the diverse system and platforms as well. So coming to the role, when the application layer generated data, the presentation layer converted into the standard form that can be transmitted across the network. For example, when the application layer generate the data, so here maybe the data should be generated. That presentation layer should be converted into the standard form that can be transmitted across the network. It should be support all the functions like as we said, proper formatting and compressing, then encrypting. So these are the functions can be done in the applicant layer before transferring to the some other networks or destination point. Similarly, when the data is received, it translated it into the format that receiving the system can process. So sorry. So for example, the data also can be translated also possible in the presentation layers. So when the data is received for one kind of format, it translated it into the format the receiving system can process. So this is a simple schematic diagram which represents the data should be encrypted at a plain text. Then the data should be compressed in case of the size should be higher. Then further the translation also can be executed while using the while through the presentation layer. So why during this process why compression is needed? As I said, so the data compression at the presentation layer is used to reduce the data size. So less bandwidth used, environment, less bandwidth needed to transmit the data process can be executed by this one by compression process. Then speed up the translations. So while compressing the file, the speed of the data transmission should be very high. It take a very less time to complete transactions. Then improve the efficiency. So what is efficiency? It reduces the network congestion as well. So as we know, congestion should be like overlapping or stopping the transactions. We should be reduced by using the compression process. Then optimize the storage. So save spaces in buffer or memory. So these are the some temporary storing purpose in the buffers. So while transferring the files or the data, it should be stored into the routers and temporary. It should be like saved as a buffer or in memory as well. So some key highlights by using the presentation layer, like what are the key highlights? Like maintain the proper syntax and semantic of data. Then a structure or format of the data and how the data is written or organized, so that the computer or system can be understand it. Then next is like a which provide the encryption and decryption for the secured communications of the data. So the data should be, for example, the file which I want to transfer to from client to server or one node to another node. The data should be encrypted before sending to that one. So while encrypting process, the data should not be read it to the any persons while any someone to try to hack our file. So, and once the encryption is completed, after the reaching the destination or the desired device, the data should be decryption also possible via presentation layer into that devices to ensure the better communication purpose or security communication purpose. Then applies like compression techniques to optimize the bandwidth usages. So how much bandwidth size of the file should be used for the transmission also can be optimized for each files or each data file to transfer the single set of file. Once the size should be optimized, we can continuously transfer to that kind of size to the destination site. So it ensures the compatibility between the different system and devices as well. So here, like we will introduction of the security. So security is nothing but like this goal to such as confidentiality and integrity and availability. So we need to secure data for someone who want to access to deny without any permissions. We need to keep the data should be more secured without permission, so no one can access. So that's why we use the security purpose like a confidentiality and data should be integrity and reliability also and availability also. Anytime can be read the files by using the security systems and the integrity so importance. So to be secured, like information, why we need to secure? Like information need to be hidden from unauthorized access. So if someone want to you read the file as a unauthorized person, it should be restricted by using a security systems. So we simply call it as a confidentiality. Then produced from the unauthorized, protected from the unauthorized changes integrities. then availability to be authorized entries when it is needed. So whenever I needed the file to access that file, so I need some security purpose to access the file. So it should be available at any time if I want to read the file. So these are the major things to use for the security systems. So like in the introduction of the security like a confidentiality, like how we can be make it a confidential of the data. So confidentiality is nothing but now like the goal of security and confidentiality integrity confidentiality like can be achieved using a cybers. So confidentiality can be achieved using a cybers method. Cyber, like the cyber can be categorized as a two methods. So one is a symmetric key cyber, and another one is asymmetric key cybers. There's a two methods or two categories divided for the cyber techniques. So coming to the symmetric key cybers, a symmetric key cyber used the system sorry like the uses the same key for the both encryption and decryption. So and the key can be used for the bidirectional communications. For example, here this the person Alice want to send the file to Bob. Here the two persons are using the same kind of key to read the file or access the file. In addition, before going to transfer, sending or transfer the file should be formatted as encryption methods. So initially it should be the plain text, then it converted as a encryption by using algorithms. Then the the encrypted text to be called as a cybertext. So the cybertext should be flows through the insecure channels also. So once it is reach the destination or respective persons, the cybertext would be converted as a decryption via using a decryption algorithms. So then the person, the Bob, can be used like a specific key to read that file. So this is a kind of a symmetric key cyber methods. So here the person is sender and receiver using the same kind of key with encryption and decryption format of the data. So here the role of key can be used for the bidirectional communications. So which is why called a symmetric method. So the initial like encryption and after that decryption methods. So the latter should be changed as a decryption method. This is the original one. Then next we will discuss about the symmetric key cyber. In that symmetric key cyber, we have subsections like a substitutional cybers, like a substitution cybers like called monoalphabetic cyber or polyalphabetic cybers. So substitution cyber can be categorized as either like we can monoalphabetic cyber or polyalphabetic cybers. So the symmetric key like cryptographic is a faster and simple, but the problem is that the sender and the receiver have to somehow exchange the keys should be securely. So the most popular symmetric key cryptographic like system as data encryption systems and advanced encryption systems. So here this is a set of data we can assume. So here the replace one character with another's. So for example, instead of A, so instead of A we can use for the replace with D, and letter T with letter Z. here should be like instant of t, and should be used as a z. This is in the like uh, letter encryption. When come to the numerical or digits symbols changes like 0 to 9, we can take it from that 0 to 9 we can replace with 3 with 7 and 2 with 6. So these are the methods to encrypt the data, but the key should be known to the receiver side also. So here, like a smart example or one set of examples for how monoalphabetic cybertext were formed, like using additive cyber key with equal to 5 encryption message, like a hello. So the solution, like we will apply the encryption algorithm to the plain text characterized by characters. So like. For example, we should return plain text as a hello. In front of hello, we should use the letters 0 to 7, 0, 7, and 0, 4, and 11, and I should be 11, and O should be 14. So how we can taken this letter means based on the previous table. So here you can see in the hatch, we can see the table in front of hatch. The values should be like. Where is H? 07 here. And hello, He should be like 04. LL. So L should be 11 and L should be 11. Like that way, we have to take in front of letters should be as a numeric values. Then encryption values plus we should take it as some assumed values like the results like we should take some common values to add it the each values. For example, here I have taken as a 15 to add the values with converted format. So 17, so 7 plus 15 should be 26 more, and 15 plus 4. Yeah, 19, sorry. 17 plus 15 like 22, and 15 plus 4 is 9, and 11 plus 15 like I think, yeah, 26. So if it is a 26, we can take it as a 0, and we should set the mode like that within the limit. So we assume like we have taken like that only. So this is a format of like one kind of data should be converted into the using the letters and in front of numeric values, then added some common values, and finally we will get kind of a letter. So we here we get like a wanted. So instead of this number, we again need to go to the previous table. 22 it should be like what is the 22, like a W. So like that way we have to convert the encrypt plain text to as a encryption methods. So note here like the cyber is monoalphabetic because two instant of the same plain text characters like a L, and encrypted as the same character as a A as well. So next like transportation transportation cybers like so here is one of the example transportation cyber text method. So here like one kind of letters as a plain text we are given like E and E something like that in the row wise. Then the row wise data should be written as by columns, or row by row we can return as like E, N, and M, Y like that. So we have written like that row by row. Then what happen once we written like that, we have to remodify the column positions. For example, in the first position, column should be shifted to the second. So once if it is changes, once you change it, then you should mark to the here like the first column should be goes to the second column of the encrypted format. Then second column should be goes to the fifth position. So second equal to the fifth. So third it should be comes to first. So third should be first. So we have to modify like that encryption in the downwards and the decryption should be rearranged that one. So here you can see um, read column by again we need to columns so like read the column by column. So 1 2 3 like that column should be written as a row wise like E T T H. So this should be written as a like that way. So each column should be written as a row wise. Once the cybertext is converted, then should be transmissions. Transmission can be applied to the receiver side. So once the cybertext received from that receiver side, again need to change the row wise, like return the column and by the row value should be written to the column by column. So E T T H and E A as a A K like that we have to, this row should be written as a column. Then we need to arrange the right position of the column values. So how to right position, make it right position like the third row should be goes to first, right? Then here need to take the third row. Sorry, the this is a third sorry, first here we need to take from here. The first row should be goes to third. So the first should be goes to third column and the second should be goes to first. Second should be goes to first and third should goes to fourth column. So third should goes to fourth and like fourth goes to 5, fourth goes to 5 and fifth goes to 2. Then this value written by read by rows. So this and again this should be written as a like a column should be written as a row wise format. So final reaching the received persons. So this is a transposition cybertext method. So So next is the second method, asymmetric method. In previous case, we have discussed a symmetric method. In that symmetric method has a mono alphabetic cybertext and the transposition cybertext methods. And coming to the second category as a asymmetric key cryptographic method. What is meant by asymmetric key cryptographic methods? Here there are two keys, so also known as a pair key. So one is a public key and another one is a private key. So public key should be the common, so anyone can access it is a public key. When come to the private key, the person who want to send the file to receiver, the both person should knows the private key. That's called the private key. So the public key is a public distribution, anyone can read that public keys. Anyone can use this public key to encrypt the messages, but only the reception who hold the corresponding private key can be decrypt the messages, decrypt the DOM messages. So here from the person Alice want to send the file to Bob, the public key should be in the any public can be accessed, but in the private key the person only can access by knows to read that decrypt the file to read that file as well. So initially it should be the plain text. The plain text should be encrypted. Then it should be called as a cybertext. Then the cybertext should be transmitted to the insecure channels. Then it is reached to the destination point as a receiver end. So as a cybertext, then should the cybertext should be the decrypted by private key. So we need to use a private key to decrypt the message and the plain text. So the general key is can anyone can access a public key distributed in the public. So asymmetric key cryptographic is normally used to encrypt or decrypt a small piece of information such as a cyber key for symmetric cryptography. So here we will discuss about this cryptographic tool in network securities. So what are the tools in cyber cryptographic tools like encryption and decryption? So like encryption, as we know, the file should be plain text should be converted as a cybertext, and cybertext should be converted as a like a plain text. It's called a decryption method. So convert the readable plain text data into the unreadable cybertext. It ensures like ensuring complete confidential during the transmission and storage. Authentication. Why need for the authentications like a verify? So verifies the identity of communicating parties and preventing the in impersons and unauthorized access attempts. So integrity, coming to the integrity, ensure the data remains unalerted during the transmission through the checksum and hash function. So here's a key management. What are the key management? Securely generates and distribute and manage the cyber cryptographic keys throughout their life cycle. So encryption and decryption, as we know, like one type of format data should be converted into cybertext, then should be decrypted data. So this is achieving using a cryptographic algorithms. So and a key which can be only be used to convert the cybertext back to the plain text through the process called decryption. So examples like here hello and in written as in the cybertext format, then cybertext format should be converted into the decrypt format by some using a specific key also. This is schematic diagrams simply understand how the file should be encrypted or decrypted. So coming to the general authentication techniques in networks like password-based authentications, like digital certificates and challenges response protocols and multi-factor authentications. There are four categories of authentication methods are available. So coming to the password-based authentication, as we know, we all are using some login credential to authenticate to access the file or read anything. So this is one of the simplest method using a username and password credentials through vulnerable through vulnerable to burst forces and publish attacks. And digital certificates, I have experience using a digital certificate in a banking, sir. So when I want to transfer the take the money or transfer the money from send it to someone, we need to use some digital certificates which was provided from the bank system. So one when you take for the transaction, you should upload that digital certificate file. Then the system will read and understand the read and authenticate the uh, account should be more reliable. So based on that one, the transaction can be executed. So here like leverage public key infrastructures KPI to provide robust identity verification through trusted certificate by authorities. Then challenge response protocols. So like a challenge, like a prevent replay attacks by verifying the freshness of authentications required throughout the dynamic challenges. Then multi-factor authentications like combines some multiple verification methods, smoothing, you know, how and are for enhanced security process or procedures or protest. So there are some other like burst forces and publishing attacks also in occurred in the websites like as we know called burst forces is nothing but it's a trial and error methods. For someone want to access your account or read your file, you continuously changing the passwords by randomly or sequentially. So by doing that one, this process we called as a burst first methods. So trial and error method used to guess the credentials. Just he try doing a trial and error or randomly changing the passwords to access the account, like a password or encryption key by systematically typing every possible combinations until the correct one is found. So the person the who want to access the persons, he continuously changing the values or key values, then until he reach the or he get the sources, he will try it. So that we called as a burst process method. So next is phishing. Like phishing attacks is called like is the type of cyber attack where the attackers masked as a true worthy entities in mails and text or website to trick people into the revealing the sensitive informations like a password, bank details, and credit card numbers. For example, some person want to the hackers the randomly send some files or links to the customers or users via mail or message. Once the users can access or enter into the link, the attackers can access that file from that from their accounts or from their system or mobile phone. Everything's he attacked. This we call it like a phishing method. He just throw something from that. Then the user can be if you catch that link, then the possibility of the can attack the or get the sources from that persons. That we call the phishing method. So how via mail or text message or text sending to the users, then people into the relieving the sensitive informations like a password or bank details or credit card numbers. Asymmetric cryptographic like so this is a common utilized to ensure the secure communications and creating a digital signatures. So it uses a large integer prime numbers for key generation. It encrypt the data with public key and decrypt with the private key. So using a public key for the encryption and a private key for the decryption. It's slower than the some other algorithm but offer a strong security systems. So the key generation, like choose or select the two large prime numbers, for example, so P and Q, and calculate the num n h equal to the P times of Q. Then like that we have to calculate it. So coming to the summary, from this lecture, we understood the outcomes like a prevention layer network security, sorry, presentation layer network security, and cryptographic tools. What are the tools for the cryptographic tools? And understand the role of a presentation layer. So what is a layer of a presentation role? Like formatting the data and encrypt the data and compress the data and um, make it as a smooth transactions. So these are the role of presentation layer will execute in the OSI models. So it ensures the secure data response, representation and transmission as well. So it explains the need for encryption and decryption as well in the security checking communication method. And identify and describe the common cryptographic tools such as symmetric and asymmetric encryption and digital signature and hashing method. And finally, for the analyze how cryptographic tools ensure the confidentiality and the integrity and authentication in data exchanges. So then finally, for the apply suitable cryptographic tool to enhance the presentation layer security in real world application. So thank you very much. Stay on the next lecture.